My name is Emily.
My name is Emily.
Today is January 16th, 2025.
Today is January 16th, 2026.
Today I am 29.
And today I am 30. Wow.
Not anywhere in particular, but generally within Los Angeles.
I actually just signed a lease in Phoenix and Tempe specifically. So it is safe to say I live in Tempe, Arizona.
Not anything in particular, but I've been doing a lot of volunteering.
Still kind of true, not anything in particular, but right now I work part-time as a cashier at a grocery store, and I am really trying to get back into tattooing this year. I just took off so much time in 2025, so let's ramp that back up.
Right now I'm in Sophia's room, and Sophia has agreed to be my interviewer.
Right now, I'm in Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, and I, from the past, am my interviewer. This is the villa that I've been staying in for just about a week. I got here last Saturday, today is Friday, and it has been an insane week. This is a yoga retreat that I'm on, that I've been doing, and this is the living room kitchen. Wow.
My tummy hurts, to be honest, but generally good.
I feel very energized. I do feel like that is coming across in this video right now. Today is our last day at the retreat, so I am just hanging out with these people that I have met, and we're just besties now, and we're doing a couple learning activity things today. So I'm just so excited for that, and just gonna soak it all in before I have to go back home.
My favorite movie used to be Drive, but I've since upgraded to a different Ryan Gosling movie. My favorite movie is La La Land.
So the thing about this is that I know that La La Land is not my favorite movie anymore. However, I don't really have a favorite movie. I don't have a movie to replace it. However, I just know La La Land is a very good movie, and it's probably in my top 5, but it's not my favorite movie. And if you know me in real life, then you know that that is growth, actually.
My favorite book is A Return to Love, Forever and Ever.
My favorite book is still A Return to Love by Marianne Williamson. Marianne Williamson for President.
I love the Alberta Arts District. I like the Lynn Lake neighborhood, and Tempe, Arizona has a special place in my heart. I love Tempe.
I have become obsessed with Bellingham, Washington. I love Bellingham, Washington. I was there for kind of a while, and I stayed in 2 different neighborhoods, and I tattooed there as well. It is just so cute. And to be fair, I did go there during the best time of year, so please do not ask me to go there when it's raining. I don't know about that, but it was just so cute, and I made friends with the people who live there. Shout out to Bill if you're watching this. I love Bellingham, Washington.
I'm not sure how I would describe myself. Maybe I'll have more words next year.
I would describe myself as 30 years old. I am brand new. I'm a baby. I am fresh out of the womb. I'm starting over. I have actually never been here before. It's clean slate, okay? Brand new, zero years old.
Honestly, my favorite thing about myself, it's my bangs. I love my bangs.
I still love my bangs, don't worry. I actually really have started to enjoy being in my body again after spending so much time last year fixing it. By that I mean getting healthy medically, just going to the doctor and stuff, but I really have gotten so much more flexible and strong in the last week, and I can only hope that that will continue to be true for the rest of the year. But as of right this second, I just love how much progress I've experienced in the last week being consistent with yoga in general, but just movement.
4.
I was right to say 4. That is very true. Now probably 7, yeah.
I was wearing black top, black bottom, white top, black bottom, and so on all year long.
I think that 2026 is going to be, the color of 2026 is going to be pink. I do think that. I think I'm moving away from black and white, only cartoon character outfit, and I'm going towards bright colors that may or may not match. Trying to figure out what is the color palette, who is she, and patterns.
I have more friends.
I don't know about direction, but just more confidence in the direction that I'm going. But I do feel I do know where I'm going, which is something that I didn't have last year. I had no clue. Which was the point, to be fair. That was the point of last year, was to not know anything and just go and see. And so now I went and saw, and now I feel I know. Write that down.
my laptop. I would cry without it. I would die without it.
Right now, if it's like a physical like item, is my crochet hook. I have just been crocheting like it's my job. I've been crocheting like I'm making $100 an hour, okay? And I'm just like having a great time. There's like a new medium artistic detour in the mix, okay? Don't really know. Something is happening for sure. Something is brewing. Something is brewing for sure.
This last year, I made more money than I've ever made in a year.
It's cool that I was saying this, that in 2024, I saved a lot of money because in 2025, I also saved a lot of money. I was traveling a lot, and that's true, but I was doing a ton of dog sitting, house sitting, cat sitting, and so I didn't pay rent for like 2025. Fantastic. So I did save a decent amount of money given how little I was working. And it's not that I didn't want to work, it's just like tattooing in this economy, like tattooing in this economy just sucks. So the financial situation is the best it's ever been. I got the emergency fund going, I got the retirement going, maxed out my Roth last year, and by that I mean on December 31st, I put the money in there. I want to find out what to save for that isn't just retirement or a house or kids. Like what else is there in life? That's what I want to figure out. So that's the situation.
I value my community, and by that I very much mean my group of friends.
Probably my energy. I think I'm really gonna get very particular with how I spend my energy. iPhones, social media, it's never been more out. It's never been more out. And like, how long have we all been saying that? But like, for real, actually, I'm not interested in social media. I value my time. I value my energy. I feel like I don't have as much energy. And so it's like, okay, is this thing that I'm doing giving me energy? Is it depleting my energy? And that's kind of how I felt about tattooing, okay? Like, it was taking my energy, which isn't sustainable. None of it is like sustainable. So I need to reevaluate how I feel about tattooing and like just how it fits in my life, because it needs to be sustainable, because I do like to do it. And I do, more importantly, I love to see you all.
Honestly, myself.
Maybe less myself and more my art and like the things that I'm making. However, I would also throw into the mix, I really love talking about health, food, movement, general wellness. Spoiler, that's kind of like the path that we're like kind of going down.
I think it's best if we have the same sense of humor. We need to be able to share the same brain cell.
The thing about being at this retreat is that like I've made friends that are in a different life space. They're 40 with kids, like 50s, 60s, and their kids are my age or like whatever it is. Like we don't share the same brain cell. If you're at the retreat right now and you're watching this, we don't share the same brain cell, and that actually might be a good thing. What I look for in a friend, I guess, is just something in common. It can be anything. And in fact, maybe it's better to have more friends with like a wider range of experiences and interests and desires. Something to learn. There's always something to learn.
Nowadays, it's deteriorating.
Better. Oh, thank God. Better, for sure. Being in Arizona and around the majority of my family and like seeing them every Sunday morning, not for church, don't worry. Actually seeing them has definitely helped a lot. There's still misbehavior, unfortunately. I, having like been able to be away from it for a while, and now I'm like up close to it, I'm like, okay, there's a way to handle this. I don't know what it is yet, but there's a way. And being like, just walking away from it isn't the way. So I'm glad that I was like not in it for a while, but that is something to consider working on this year.
Miss Los Angeles, I love her.
Arizona and I have a hard relationship for sure. The thing that I do love, I love Tempe. I said it last year, I love Tempe. I do love that Sophia is there right now. Sophia and I were in LA at the same time, and now we're in Phoenix at the same time. And then Johnny lives in Arizona, has always lived in Arizona. So being in LA and having those friends, and then going to Phoenix and having those friends, it's like, oh, great. Like, I don't know, it's like not the best of both worlds because it's the same world, but it's the same but different, and I love it. I do like being near my mom. Love being near my mom and most of my family as well. I'm very scared for the summer. Please do not ask me about that. I'm very scared for the summer. My prediction is that I won't be there. My prediction is that I'm gonna leave.
It's not for me, man.
Still true. Definitely one of those bigger things that could change. Again, like I'm a single gal, like who's to say? But I don't really want to be pregnant, and that's been true for a while. So
When I hear the word home, I simply think of Los Angeles.
I think home is where the people are, which that means I have homes all over the place. I have a mansion in Phoenix for all my friends and my family. I have a bungalow in LA for all those friends. I have a tiny little apartment in Portland for those friends. You know, like, home is where the people are, really. I love the part where I said, I'm gonna just be here permanently. It simply couldn't be farther from the truth. Comedy of the year, that video.
My primary medium is collage. Throw in a side of like tattooing maybe, or definitely a side of writing here and there.
Right now, it's crochet. Crochet with a side of photography. Of course, tattooing, not really writing as much, but that's always writers though. Yeah, mostly fiber. Fiber in general, I think I like picked up a little bit more in 2021 with latch hooking, and I had the rug gun. I had the rug machine. It was so hard. That was a crazy thing to go viral because it's so difficult. So I had that, but I did the punch needle as well, like on the big frame. So I started fiber, I would say in 2021. And then in 2024, I learn how to crochet. Shout out to Sophia. She showed me how to crochet. I made a blanket, and then I made a sweater, and then I just stopped. I was like, that's enough. And then I started again in October 2025, and I made a blanket again. And then since I made that blanket, I've made like 3 more blankets with the chunky yarn, and just a bunch of random stuff, just trying to make stuff, just trying to explore new things. I learned a lot from the blanket, the first blanket that I made, and I made like a little rug, like a little bath mat rug, and I learned so much from those projects. I feel like I actually understand crochet and like the mechanics of crochet, which is helpful for making your own stuff up. I am very much learning the rules so I can eventually break the rules with crochet and fiber in general.
I think right this second, the thing that I like doing the most is simply hanging out with my friends.
Movement is bringing me a lot of joy. I'm also just so fascinated with all my new friends. The prospect of like going home after this and like integrating is very daunting, but I am excited for the other side of the integration. Like doing the work, boo. Wait, what is it? Sewing, reaping. That's how I feel.
I'm starting to understand the appeal of thrifting. I would go again, for sure. And I'm really obsessed with YouTube. I'm having so much fun still. This is my 4th video.
I'm still excited after almost 4 months of consistently crocheting. So that is a good sign as well. Taking a break from crocheting this last week, like I needed it. Oh my God. I needed a break from like any sort of creation. Like who knew that takes a ton of energy. I am just simply obsessed with crochet at the moment and just asking those questions, making up new rules, kind of just putting up parameters, breaking them back down.
Just because I don't have a job doesn't mean I'm not working.
You know, it's like one step away from a 9 to 5. I just go work at my little grocery store when they tell me to go work, and that's it. And listen, I really love clocking out. I'm nervous to like try to tattoo again and like fall right back into working 24/7, never taking a break. When I was tattooing and like doing all the admin and the blah, 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 like it was just as soon as I woke up and then 9 p.m., oh, gotta make something, like it was just too much. So I really enjoy clocking out. I'm gonna keep this silly little job for a little while longer, but certainly not forever.
I think this new era will be like preventative care. Ooh, sexy.
I did it. I went to the doctor all year long. I went to the doctor, and it was very much needed. I fixed my feet issue. I fixed both of my feet issues. I am cured for now. I don't have foot pain anymore. Yay. Ended up taking 2 injections in my left heel for those following along with plantar fasciitis. That's what it took for me. I also got insoles. So if that's your journey, try that. I also completely changed my diet. It's just a 180 on my diet, and I just am like this is who I'm supposed to be. Self-love and all that, but at the same time, I'm like, how can I claim self-love if what I'm doing, not moving too much, stressing about moving, eating bad, eating too much, blah, blah, blah. How can I claim self-love when I'm doing these things that I know don't make me feel good? Like ultimately at the end of the day, I feel better. And a byproduct of that, I feel like I look better. And do I look how I want to look? Like, no, whatever that means. But at the same time, like, it almost doesn't matter because I know that I'm doing the right things and I feel good.
The goal now is as close to 50-50 as possible. Like, get some art in there, but also, yes, clock in, have a silly job.
Now I feel like I have achieved 60-40 art, okay? I do not work very much. I work like absolutely no more than 30 hours a week. It's probably more like 20. I feel like the balance is much, much more even. I think I'm actually gonna add a secret third item to the work-life balance, and that being study, work-life study balance. Whoa. I think my goal will be 40 work, 40 art, 20 study, 40-20.
Wake up, morning pages. Open the Finch app.
Have a tea, perhaps, but mostly just water. Go do yoga. Go to silent breakfast. That's awesome. Not speaking. From there, we'll do like a workshop or something. And so hopefully I can kind of incorporate study for a little bit and then go to work or whatever it is. So that's my goal.
I'm moving on from the most painful 4 years. I'll get there. There's another side, I'm sure of it.
I'm healed, girls. I did it. It only took 4 years. And it's the kind of thing where it's like, yeah, I'm healed until you see a post on social media. You just look at a story you're not supposed to look at. Overall, I feel so much better. Truly, I'm like, thank God that's over, right? Because I was just holding on to like, please be different, please change, like, please rise to the occasion. And it just like never happened. I'm like, okay, whose fault is it that I'm disappointed? Probably mine. So I would consider like not dating for like a while. I think people come in and out whenever they need to come in and out. That's fine. But I feel like I have stuff to do. So stay away from me.
First of all,
Sophia.
Also, the girls.
Johnny, of course. Shout out Johnny. But also, perhaps dare I even say, myself. Whoa. I feel like I woke up and I'm like, it doesn't matter if anyone wishes me a happy birthday. It doesn't matter if I receive anything. It doesn't matter if I spend the whole day in bed. It doesn't matter, period. And like the only thing that matters to me on my birthday is that I am excited to have this day, to have this moment, to feel this way, to acknowledge that I've grown. And like, that is enough. Me. Maybe I'm my own support system.
My whole thing that I've been figuring out is managing my attachment style and also managing my codependent tendencies.
What's interesting actually is that you can show up to any relationship, like new relationship, right? You're meeting someone. After here I am like meeting a bunch of people. You can show up however you decide to show up, and you don't have to keep showing up how you've always shown up. And maybe someone's energy or the environment that you're in calls for you to show up differently.
Absolutely nothing has stayed the same, and everything that has changed 180, just absolutely completely different, and I simply cannot keep up with it.
2025 as a whole was a transition year. It almost doesn't matter where, what, how, why, when. I just have to lay down and rest. I can't keep walking 100 miles through the desert repenting. I cannot keep walking on my knees. And so I'm just like, I have to lay down and rest for a year, 2 years, 3 years, I don't know. A complete 180. One thing about me, I'm gonna let the pendulum swing.
I used to think it was really funny and cool to be mean. I don't do that anymore, which is great.
I have not completely let go of attachment to results. However, every time this comes up, I end up at the right mindset, and it takes a little less time every time. It still like takes a while, but I always end up in the right mindset, which is I don't have to know the end game. I can just make a move and then wait for the next move to happen and then make another decision. Like, I don't have to decide how I'm going to play the game of chess. I can just make a move. I always end up there, but why does it take so long? It takes so long to get there every time. But that has helped so much with like starting anything. It's all just baby steps.
I want to be consistent with YouTube, and that is super important to me. The thing about YouTube is you're playing the long game.
This is not written down anywhere, but I remember distinctly in like 2024, perhaps, I said to somebody, shout out to Tech if you're watching this, I said, I think I'm in my sculpture era, and then I never made anything. So now I'm like, I want to make a sculpture. I don't know what that means, but I want to make a sculpture. LA, Phoenix, Rome, Italy, and Tivoli, Italy, Seattle, Bellingham, San Francisco, Alaska, a few different places in Alaska, Canada. Did I say Mexico? Puerto Penasco, Cabo, and Ensenada, Mexico. And I think that's it. If I had to pick a favorite, it's Bellingham. It's so Bellingham. I liked where I was in San Francisco. I was on the peninsula. I wasn't like in the city. And it was nice. And that trip was fun because Cell was there. Oh my gosh, Cell. But Bellingham, that was the highlight for sure.
If you're going to be hopping around while you're traveling, you have to carry multiple ways to drink coffee.
Try doing something that is scary, because going to Italy alone and then having to get from Rome to a small town outside of the city was actually the scariest thing ever, but I did it and I didn't die and I had fun. So do it scared.
The Poetry Project Volume 1 was a sick premiere of that project. I'll say it.
That remains true. The Poetry Project as the Frost Project, super slay. I am working on Poetry Project number 3 as we speak. Mary Oliver's Wild Geese. We are just beginning. It is my goal to finish it this year, don't worry. If I want to make a piece of fine art, which hasn't happened, so it's not a highlight, but it will be a highlight when it happens. 2025 was very quiet for the art. I did some cool photography things this year. I'll say that. I got into film. Film's like kind of hard low-key, but it's very beautiful. And it's much more real to me than digital. Digital is not real. These aren't highlights.
What does it mean to be a project? I can't even begin to say. I can't even begin.
I finished my rug, my crochet rug, and that's probably the most recent thing I finished because I have a doily that just is probably not going to get made, and that's fine. And I have a purse that is halfway done. Shout out to Sophia for showing me how to crochet.
I literally don't know what it means to have a wildest dream.
The way that I spiraled on this question last year, to a gallery. Actually, who did this? I'm gonna say it's Frank Lloyd Wright, and I don't actually know if that's true. It was like somebody in Arizona, I think, and they just made art, and then a rich person came along and was like, I would love to fund your art and your life so you can just do nothing but make art. And so that is where my art takes me in my wildest dreams. An art collector, a donor sort of sponsors me. That's where it takes me. Maybe a couple steps before that would be into a gallery.
12.
I think I have like 354 subscribers, which after like August, I just stopped posting. Not a bad first year. I cannot promise you I will make a video this year besides this one. So my social media, and by that I mean Instagram, right now is the most authentic it's been since I had a Finsta. It is a little curated, which doesn't have to be bad. And curated, I mostly mean like a cohesive color palette is what I really mean. So I feel pretty connected. I wanted to post it twice a week, but that's too much. I'm probably posting actually like once every other week, which might just be the right amount of posting.
Don't think too far ahead and enjoy the summer while it lasts.
Rushing is not going to get you anywhere. It's really not. Oh my God, it's so hard to just wait. It's so hard to wait, but rushing is not going to get you anywhere except maybe in trouble. So slow down.
I'm low-key stressed about figuring out where I'm gonna live next.
I am nervous to move into my apartment. I am. Every so often, I'm like, was that the wrong decision? Was that actually wrong? But it's not, because nothing is like wrong. It's just a different way to get to where you're going. So I'm not like too like worried. I'm not like actively worried about it, but I am like, was that a good idea? That was my biggest struggle right now.
I'll say that the fires are not helping.
Fine. Actually, I started taking a medication, and I don't know if that's actually helping or if I'm just in a good place. I think there's depression clinical and depression environmental. And I was definitely like, the transition of it all was just like too much. I was like, I cannot go another day feeling this fog. I can't go another day. And things like worked out, I have clarity, and I don't know if that's just because the timing of the answers have come or if it's the medication or whatever, but I'm fine. My anxiety is a bigger issue than depression, I would say, which is like a fun flip the script for me because I always thought it was the opposite, but I'm good.
I spent so much time alone for the last 3 or 4 months ever since I started traveling, which was the beginning of October. So 3 months, 3.5 months.
I am going to be so solitary. Okay. In fact, actually, maybe for the next 30 years. Whenever I think to do something, I'm like, oh, I should ask whoever to do this with me. And then I'm like, oh no, I will get so much more out of it if I go do it alone. Oh, I get it. There's time and place. But I think generally I'm about to be the hermit. That's what I think.
It's going to be worth it to keep posting on YouTube. It's going to be worth it.
Me from a year ago, I'm sorry, I did not stay terribly consistent. I did hit the video goal. I made more than the number of videos you wanted me to make. So you're welcome. If I did come back to YouTube, I would have to like really think about that again because I don't like documenting my life in the influencer way. As far as future me, I hope 30 is literally amazing. I'm sure it will be. I have no doubt that it will be, actually. If you end up going back to a certain boy, I'm going to commit a crime against you. Other than that, keep moving. Keep moving because you're only getting older and you're gonna get creaky. You're already creaky. You're gonna get worse, so keep moving. Please. I watched this video back like a week ago and I just thought it was the comedy of the year. Like, what am I even saying? Because in the moment, you're like so sure. She's like, yeah, this is like exactly it. And then a year is not a long time. A year later, I'm like, oh, I don't know about that. I thank you for watching. I thank me for doing this for myself. And I guess we'll just see you next year.